Hi, I'm Buffy and I talk about movies because sometimes they're too good not to talk about them. Today we're going to be talking about Bugonia, directed by Yorgos Lanthimos and starring Emma Stone, Jesse Plemons, and Aidan Delbis. I actually didn't know this going in, but apparently this movie is based on another film called Save the Green Planet, directed and written by Jang Jun-hwan. It looks so different from Bugonia based on the poster alone, so I'm now really interested in watching this one, actually. Now, before I actually go into the movie, a little sidebar, of course, because this is my video and there's gonna be a sidebar. I apologize, but here we go. So, I don't think I've mentioned this before about myself, but I have stopped watching trailers a long time ago. I don't trust them not to spoil the movie in its entirety. For example, I really didn't want to know that Harrison Ford was gonna be in Blade Runner 2049, and I especially didn't want to know exactly which scene that was going to occur in. After watching the trailer, that whole scene lost the entire tension that was meant to be enjoyed by the audience. And at that point, you're just watching Ryan Gosling walking around in that orange setting, just expecting for Harrison Ford to show up. So the scene just loses the tension, loses the impact, so I'm just not interested in watching trailers. Anyways, long story and a lot of annoyance short, I've given up watching trailers entirely. So how I choose movies to watch at this point is one of few ways. One, the IP that I'm already interested in. Two, word of mouth, if somebody recommends it in my circle of friends and I trust their taste. 3, film reviewers with similar taste to mine. And 4, and the most important, the director of the film. There are some directors I will watch anything that they ever direct. And by the way, I encourage everyone to follow this method since it enhances the viewing experience so much. I can personally attest to it, and it's really enjoyable to go into a movie just blind, not knowing anything about it. It's great. All of this to say, I went into this movie completely blind. I went to see it just because it was directed by Yorgos Lanthimos, one of my personal favorite directors working now. And I think it was to my benefit that I literally didn't know anything about this movie before watching it. So what I'm going to do for this video is I'm going to limit the scenes from its trailers that show literally the first 5 minutes of the film. Anyway, now that this side tangent is over, let's get into talking about the film itself. Completely spoiler-free this time. No spoilers ahoy in this one. As I said, I'm not going to talk about the premise of the film. However, Yorgos Lanthimos still exceeds in combining the absurd with the grounded. The two men in the film play conspiracy theorists, and Emma Stone plays a CEO of a pharmaceutical company. The movie has a lot of themes going on, and it shows extremely well how easy it is to go down this rabbit hole of conspiracies, how trauma shapes people, and how some people get taken advantage of by these online bubbles, or how the internet culture can exacerbate one's delusions and reinforce their misguided beliefs. The film explores human nature, our tendency to deflect and to try to justify the injustices we come across daily, in whatever way possible. However, describing Bugonia's themes really doesn't do justice to the film's entertainment value. The movie is vastly entertaining and humorous despite its serious subject matter. I really loved the cinematography and the score for this film. A lot of this movie takes place in a very mundane setting, but the presentation of the film is quite grandiose, is the way I would describe it, making everything look dramatic, and that juxtaposition works really well with the themes of the film. The same can be said about the score of the film, which is very epic for the lack of a better term. It is beautiful and impactful, and by the end of the film, you will understand why these particular choices were made while making the film. The acting is stellar across the board. As it is prevalent in Lanthimos' work, we get 3 very different characters and types of people that are depicted superbly. Emma Stone plays a cold, calculating, incredibly smart and manipulative person, aka a perfect CEO, and she does it so incredibly well. Jesse Plemons plays a delusional man of conviction and a conspiracy theorist, overconfident in his beliefs. However, I think it's Aidan Delbis who is the true heart of this film and this dynamic. He is the emotional link for the audience with these other characters as well, in my opinion. He did a great job depicting his naive, warm character that's motivated purely by the love for his cousin. I think Aidan was a perfect choice for this character. His performance illustrates perfectly how impactful this kind of authentic casting is. But truly, the most fascinating thing about Bugonia is how difficult it is to define it by genre. It is pretty much impossible to determine where it's going or how the plot will unfold. If you're anything like me, you watch movies and you try to stay in the moment, but your mind still races. You still try to figure out what's about to happen, what's going to unfold, and how the story will turn out. Who's the real villain of the story, or whatever the movie's question is, right? However, this is one of the experiences when watching the movie when I was completely unsure of what was going to happen. Of course, I had my theories, but at the same time, you're always doubting everybody on screen and yourself at the same time while watching the film. And also, the way this aspect of a conspiracy theory rabbit hole is described and shown in the film, it makes you realize how easy it is to just get into it and how important it is what kind of people you're surrounded with and what environment you're living in. It was extremely impactful, extremely interesting, and extremely relatable at the same time. You see Jesse Plemons' delusional character and you understand him on a very deep level. At least I did. What does that say about me? I'm not sure. I mean, I am sure, but I just don't want to. I'll just leave it at that. It is wildly entertaining by being extremely serious or tragic at times and absurdly funny in others. I heard it described as a slow burn by some people, but to me, the movie just flew by. I was kept at the edge of my seat most of the time and wholly intrigued by the development of the story. I'm sure Bugonia isn't everyone's cup of tea, but if you've seen Lanthimos' other films and you've enjoyed them, then there's no doubt that you'll like this one too. His signature character exploration, beautiful cinematography and score, purposeful editing, unhinged humor, superb acting, and unexpected twists and turns make for a thrilling movie watching experience in my opinion. So go check it out and let me know what you thought of the film. And if you've seen Lanthimos' other films, let me know what your favorite is. Thank you so much for watching this video. Subscribe to my channel if you're interested in more movie reviews or recommendations, and of course if you feel like it. And I'll see you next time. Bye! It is pretty much impossible to determine. Oh my god, why is it so difficult for me to speak today? As if it is not difficult for me to speak other days, but still.